This is going to be a bit different from what I usually do, and it's almost off the cuff. I usually spend more time writing these. But I wanted to get this out since this game isn't getting a lot of attention, it seems. I found out about this game completely by accident, and I bought it on a whim. I think it's worth it. I'll be going over some light story details, no major spoilers, and then other gameplay elements. 1000xRESIST, I don't know if there's a proper way to say this, but I'm gonna say 1000xRESIST, is a sci-fi narrative game made by Sunset Visitor, a Vancouver-based studio made up of mostly Asian Canadian devs. This is important to note because, well, the game itself deals with some heavy topics, specifically the 2019 to 2020 Hong Kong protests, immigration, and fitting into a new culture. Other heavy topics are present as well, such as bullying, adolescence, self-harm, and I'm getting a real ethics of science vibe. Cloning, in particular, comes up very early in the story, as well as viruses and how we deal with them. Oh, and there's time travel. That gets an obligatory 10 points from me. Not everyone will 100% relate to all of the themes here. That's okay. But this is definitely a human experience type of story, and I think there will be something that everyone can relate with. Now, I'm only a couple chapters into the game, about 3 hours, so I haven't finished the story and I don't know exactly where it's going to go, but man, do I really want to see it. I won't get deep into story details, and I'm only showing footage of chapter 1 to keep spoilers at a minimum. As a sci-fi lover and a sucker for emotional storytelling, 1000xRESIST has its claws in me. Characters have depth, and the writing makes them feel realistic. Central characters have flaws, they have clear motivations, and I haven't felt like any dialogue really wasted time. So, let's talk about things that aren't the main attraction. Graphically, well, it's an indie game, you know? It doesn't look bad, but it looks good enough. 1000xRESIST feels like it has its own visual identity, and that's good enough if you ask me. Of course, I have to mention the music. While nothing has really stood out to me during my time playing, everything is pleasant or atmospheric when it needs to be. In terms of gameplay, you're mostly just running around a defined area, talking to characters. At most, at least this early in the game, there are sections where you blink across a chaotic dreamscape by locking onto these nodes of light. These sections, if I had to pick a number one criticism, are the weakest part of the experience. The whole blinking thing could be cut out and it wouldn't make a big difference. It's not terribly fun, and it keeps you from the meat of the game, which is its dialogue. Also, there's a main hub area in which you get sort of a compass thing that points you towards people of interest. I immediately bounced off of this, it isn't very clear with where it's pointing. A classic map with locations and people marked on it would have worked better. Either that, or if Sunset Visitor wanted to maintain a sense of exploration, no map or compass at all would suffice. As it is, I don't find the compass useful. As far as the PC settings go, it's fairly minimal, but it has everything you need. Various resolution options, VSync, FPS limiting, gameplay toggles, and other nice little things like voice line skipping and disabling high-pitched noises. My system is complete overkill for something like this. I'm running a Ryzen 7 7800X3D and an RX 7800 XT, but I think the game is lightweight enough to run on older hardware. And that about covers it. I hope you all check this out, I'm quite enjoying it, and I hope you found this info useful. Till next time.
唔使擔心，佢哋走晒啦，全部嘢都拍低晒㗎啦，嗰班狗。